Hello everyone, welcome to Bargain Gaming, where we can play excellent games without busting our wallets. This is a special episode of Mount Blade Warband. I'm still getting questions from people who wants spoilers as to how, what businesses to buy and which cities to own, and which, in other words, the most economical towns and the most economical businesses to own. So that's why we're doing this special episode to answer that. This is all about spoilers. And this is not exactly the best business. You can still maximize from this. I'm just showing what has so far worked for me in my, I think this is my third playthrough, and where we're doing primarily economics based. We were not trying to conquer the country. Like I said, the best source of revenue is going out to in the desert region, in the Sultanate region near Amarad, and taking on desert bandits, and then from there progress to, after you cleared it out, you can go and do the steppe areas where the Kurgit Khanate is, and close to Durbil or that area, and then going north towards the Vagar country, the snow country, where Kudan is. Around there, you will get a lot of it's like bandits, like more like steppe bandits. No, not steppe bandits. Steppe bandits are in the Kurgit area. Then in Kudan would be the forest bandit. No, not forest bandits. Can't remember. They're bandits right near Kudan's. And then go for, once you clear that out, because that's what I'm talking about is that in the Saranid Sultanate areas, near Amarad, there will almost always there will be a bandit lair, and by not destroying the bandit lairs, the bandits respawn after about 2-3 weeks. They quickly respawn. They start raiding the area, and that is why Amarad always has get hit by this, because very few caravans can get to Amarad. So when you clear it out and you sell the prisoners to, sometimes the ransom guy will appear in Amarad. That's why I have still kept Amarad, despite the fact that it doesn't make so much business for us. Is that I can store the prisoners there. So some of them escape over time, but I will keep up. I can accumulate up to close to 200 prisoners by clearing out the bandits in the area. And then once it's cleared out, then I'll move on to the Kurgit areas and then clear out the bandits there. Maybe that is the reason why Nara for me is very good, and I still keep, I can still transport the bandits in that area, the steppe bandits, to Nara and keep them there. I will gather about 100, 150 before clearing them out. And then I will go over the mountains and go into the Vagar country, and where Kudan is, and there, just a little bit north of Kudan, usually there's also a bandit lair in the steppe area close to one of the big cities. Also a bandit lair usually spawns. I never destroy them. And then close to Kudan, north of Kudan, in the forested area, there will usually always a bandit lair also. And so I think they're called forest bandits, or maybe not. They're also good, very good source of income. The biggest source are those just north of Kudan, in the area north of Kudan, and all the way up to the sea. So the bandits in the the desert bandits in the Sultanate and the Kurgit steppe bandits, they usually bring in about $80 per person. So that's pretty good, right? If I could collect up to 100, that's 8,000 yeah, 100, that's 10,000 gold pieces. And the bandits in the Kudan areas, they bring in about 110. I can't remember now, but 110 per bandit. So, and that's a big area. You can easily capture about 200 bandits there. I would love to get Kudan. Kudan itself as a city doesn't produce much gold. And then further north up close to River Chegg, you have the Sea Raiders. The Sea Raiders are the most expensive. When you catch them, you can ransom them for the most expensive money. So they produce, there's a lot of Sea Raiders along the north coast by River Chegg. So for me, the best income are the looters, not the looters, but the desert bandits, both in the desert bandits, the steppe bandits, I think they're called mountain bandits maybe in the Kudan area, and then the Sea Raiders. And it is that's why I am tempted. I continue to keep Amarad, and I control River Chegg because that's where the Sea Raiders are. And I would love to control Kudan, even if it's costing me money. Anyway, so this is the spoiler here regarding what cities I own and what businesses I have been investing in. So I continue to maintain Sargoth. The 4 castle towns I think I have Sargoth. And then lower down we have Werchegg, which is up in the northwest area, just to the west of River Chegg. Werchegg is pretty bad. It doesn't really yield much because it's so way up north there. It doesn't make so much money. Once I take on Dirim, I will give up Werchegg or Amarad first. So that's the second city. Nara is one of the Kyrgyz Empire's main cities, and it is the most lucrative business. So if we look at it, Sargoth yields about 10,000. That is in rents and tariffs. So the tariffs is determined by the amount of trade or caravans that go through the area. So when I am in that area and I can collect some looters, or whenever I go into battle, every time I go to Sargoth to sell off the loot that I have gotten, that improves the tariffs of Sargoth. So Sargoth is not bad. It's making about 8,400 every week. And then you have Werchegg. Werchegg is not very good. But I have been feeding it because I have been catching Sea Raiders and I have been selling the goods that I win from them in Werchegg. And that is why they're doing okay. And then Nara is exceptional. It can right now it is making 21,000 dinars every week. Can you imagine? That is enormous. And then we have Charis, which is in the westernmost part of the Saranid Sultanate. Charis is a distant one. It's a big city. It controls 4 villages. So it's a big one. And then Amarad. So let's go again. So I have Sargoth is 1, Werchegg is 2, Nara is 3, Charis is 4, and then Amarad. Amarad, I'm barely break even. I have like about just under 7,000 from there. And then, so those are the 5 towns I control. Because I control 5 towns, I am taking a tax loss collection inefficiency. They call it tax loss inefficiency. In my case, my tax loss due to tax inefficiency is 6,731. So in other words, hold on. My alarm just went off, so it's telling me I have played. Too many hours. Okay, so I'm taking a break from Phoenix Point. So here Amrad is giving me almost 7,000, right? It's about 6,600, and my tax loss due to tax inefficiency is 6,700. So that's why if I just give up Amerad, I will not have the rents and tariffs from Emerald, but my tax loss inefficiency will be less because right now I have five. I have five. What do you call this? I have five towns. Therefore, I am suffering any any holdings beyond three results in a 3% tax loss due to tax collection inefficiency. So right now I have two. Right, I don't own any other. So it doesn't matter whether you own a fief, a castle, a village, a castle, or a castle town. They're all considered land holdings. So right now I have five. I might control a lot of other castles and villages, but I don't own them. I control them, but I don't own them. And so I'm suffering a 6% tax loss inefficiency based on the total amount of the gross amount I collect every month. In this situation, we are talking about I have a net income of 16,000. So if we add in all the expenses, we are talking about probably if no 6,000 represents 6% of my tax loss, so we're talking about close to over 100,000. My gross income is over 100,000 because right now I'm suffering a 6% loss. So that means I have over 110,000 gross revenue from all of these, from the top all the way from the businesses I have run, and for all the collections from the tariffs and rents. So these are all steady income. Well, I shouldn't say steady. So I'm gross is 110,000, but because I have two extra land holdings, I'm suffering a 6% tax loss due to tax inefficiency, and that's costing me 6,700. So if I give up one, that means I will have only a tax loss inefficiency of 3,300 instead of 6,700. So that means just by giving up Amarad, I will pick up 3,300. I will be close to 20,000 in my net income. So that is and any additional holdings I take on will add 3% more. So if I take on a village and it gives me only 600 per week, my tax loss on that one will be another 3,300. So that's I'm trying to avoid as much as I can. So although we have dirham, we have a lot of other. From here you can see that I have Hallmark, I have dirham, I have Ikamor, I have Tilbot Castle. All of those, if I take them on, I will suddenly be in the red. I will not make any money. And I'm currently in the red on those because I am paying for the garrison that I have put in there. Sargoth is expensive, Dirham is expensive, Ikamor and Nara are expensive, and then the rest are tiny bits. So just to protect them from being taken over by another party should someone go to war with our faction. Now, going back to what I talked about earlier, the whole purpose of this episode is spoilers on what kind of businesses I have invested in and what could possibly be better. So net revenue from in Sargoth, I have invested in a wool weavery. So this one I'm not funding. If I bring in wool, the weavery will make a lot more money. And wool is cheap, I think, up north in You can buy wool for about under 70. Anytime it's under 100, it is worth buying. So anything under for wool up north and down in the steppe country where Kyrgyz and possibly I think the Sultanate is, wool is very cheap. We can get them for under 70 bucks, 70 dinars. And so if you can feed that wool weavery, Sargoth, I am not feeding it that much because I don't like to carry too much. I don't have that much room in my inventory. So I don't want to feed it. But if you can feed it, it will make more money. And so, and then in tier, I have a mill in tier. Mill is primarily for, I should just change that. In the previous game, in tier, I used to have a leatherworks. And leather is very, very, is pretty common in a lot of villages. If you go to the villages, as I habitually go through, you will pick up leather. Picking up leather, anything that's under 100, you can pick it up and deliver it to Tyr or to Nara. Nara is anyway. If you can feed Tyr with a leatherworks, the mill is just break even. If Tyr has, I think, 2 villages attached to it, and one of them occasionally produce leather. So that's why leatherworks at Tyr is a good investment. A mill is not a good one. It's not good. This second time I played it, I tried it. I was feeding it with a lot of grains so that it still doesn't make as much money as leatherworks. So in Veluca is an excellent oil press for oil. It is excellent business. It has a couple of Veluca is surrounded. I control Veluca also, but I am not. See, if we go down here, you will see that I control Veluca. Do I control Veluca? I thought I controlled Veluca. Waimira, Sargoth, Dirim, Ikamor, Telrog, Tilbal. Huh? I don't control Veluca. I thought I did. Anyway, I'm confusing it with my other playthrough. So, Veluca has 4 villages attached to it. And 2 of them actually do produce olive oils. And that's why, and also there are other castles that if you control the castles and the villages, if they're part of your empire, although they previously belonged to another empire, but if it's now part of your empire, they are forced to sell their goods to your castle towns. So Veluca's oil in Veluca is great. The ironworks in Suno is okay. You know, at least Suno, it turned out, you know, in the past I put beer in it, mills in it, and apparently the ironworks works out well. I have not fed Suno with iron billets. In Ravedin, Ravedin is just north of the whole Dirim complex. And so in the whole Dirim complex, you have a ton of villages that produce grain. So in the past, no, I have not changed this. So I have always used, in the past I used Ravedin for a mill to produce bread. It doesn't work. Producing the same, because the bread and brewery, they use the same grain. So apparently this time I use grain, but I have to feed Ravedin. If I don't feed it, it barely makes money too. So there's a lot of grain in the Dirim area. So I will stuff the I will feed the merchant there by bringing the grain over and putting it in inventory. Now Kudan turned out to be very good as an oil press. This one, in the previous one, I've tried iron in it. Reason why I tried iron in it is because Kurao next door to it produces some of the Kurao has 2 villages, and both of them sometimes produce iron billets. So I will buy those and actually feed Kudan. And so I got tired of that, so I changed it to an oil press, and apparently it's doing well. Any other business, even dye business, I don't think I make money unless I feed it. So oil press, I have not fed it, and I was surprised it turned out to be making good money. And then in Tulga, yeah, brewery. That is like, yeah, because I can feed it with a lot of. No, no, I don't feed it. Sorry, Tulga is in the Kurgit Kanet area, so it just so 116 a month. Now Ironworks in Corral is good. Because, like I said, the two villages or three villages tied to it do produce billets. And if you happen to pass by and you pick up some iron billet, just give it to your business, and it will do well. Now, Wurcheg, I've tried before. I've used like to do winery. It's just like, yeah, it's like brewery. But Wurcheg, I've been feeding Wurcheg. This one I bring a lot of grain over and I feed Wurcheg. But like I said, it's not very interesting. Wurcheg, it doesn't do very well. Now the best business ever in this game is the dye works in Rivacheg. The Rivacheg dye works normally will produce 1,200 per week, up to 1,000 to 1,200 per week. The reason why it's not doing this well is because I have Ikamur and I have another dye works elsewhere doing dye works. So the more competition or the more similar businesses are available in the empire, they kind of pull away from each other. So that's why the caravans that go back and trading now have more options or optional sources to source their high-end products. So Rivacheg is the best business. It's the most expensive too. I think you need 12,000 to get to the business. And also the original owner of Rivacheg always hates my guts. So I have to do him a couple of favors to get it to break even, because even if you are good with the guilds, they if the owner of the castle town doesn't like you, you cannot do any business with them. Now in Hallmark, again I have to feed it because again Hallmark is just south of the Dirim area, so there's a lot of grain in the area. So brewery is easy. And Dirim, of course, I do brewery because of all the grains around it. And then Ikamur is the other dye works I talked about. Is that, yeah, now we have I have three dye works, and that's why they're pulling business from Rivacheg. I have one in Ikamur. I have one in Amarad, and then Ikamur, Amarad, and Rivacheg. So there are three dye works right now in the entire kingdom of Calradia, and that is why Rivacheg is not as profitable anymore. And then in Nara, it is I don't feed this. Nara controls two villages, but there are a total of 4 villages that actually sell to it, because there are two. No, actually, I think Nara has 3. No, and has 2, and there are 2 castles that do not have markets. So there are 4, in fact, 4 villages that trade with Nara. So it is self-supporting. Now, if you feed it, Nara will do exceptional. Now, in terms of rents and tariffs, there's no peer. Nara is the best there is. So it's making almost 21,000. Sometimes I've hit 23,000 when I am clearing out the steppe bandits in the Kurgit Kanet area near Ikamur. There is usually a bandit lair there, so I will. And then bring all the looted items to Nara to sell, so it will increase their tariffs. And in fact, very often the goods, the inventory slots for the traders in goods, arms, armor, and horse will all be blocked off, meaning I will fill them with all of those goods, or I will exhaust the money that they have available to buy my goods. And so Nara is excellent. And then so in Charis I did a wine press. It's doing decent. Wine press is decent in Charis. And Charis again is a big city, and right now, and I'm not feeding it. I'm not, because there are no bandit lairs nearby, so I'm not doing much bandit hunting, desert bandit hunting in that area. If I'm doing that, or if I fight opponents or other warlords, and I sell the goods to Charis, it can easily make about 11,000 to 12,000 per week. So if you're doing business with it, I mean, yeah. So the tariffs and rents can be impacted by we, the player, selling goods in that regard, in that area. Now the Cuba wine press is, yeah, that's okay. And the Amarad, right now it's doing very well because I'm feeding it. I gave it dyes. I gave it silks that I was able to get in one of the villages. So by feeding it, it's doing well. But if you don't feed it, it will be similar to Ikamur. It will make about 500 or less, but it's still pretty good, right? $400 is not bad actually. And then the rents and tariffs in Amarad is terrible, primarily because of all those bandits in that area. So we're barely making 7,000. And then you have the tax loss inefficiency, which right now is running at 6%. So by inversely doing the division, we know that we're making gross total revenues for our faction is about 110,000 per week. And so our party has all high levels. Sargoth will maintain good quality troops. Wurcheg, not much. Hallmark is very close to Nara, so not much troops either. Dirim has all our big knights and Mamelukes. And then Ikamur a little bit. Nara is lots because that used to be our base, and I don't want anything threatening that. It has, I think, still over 1,000 troops in it, so nobody's gonna come close. And Charis has some decent troops in it, about, I would say, about 400, because it's very far from us, and we are not. Yeah, it takes a while for us to get there, so I put enough troops in there to be a deterrent for lots of people. Amarad is because, yeah, I'm still holding on to it. And then, so all of these castles I don't own, but I control. And that's why I have troops in there as garrison, and that's very expensive. Now, one of the most expensive is Wairuma, which is in the Vega country. And I was planning to take Kudan. That is why I was beefing up the troops there. So once I take over Kudan, I can move the troops, the garrison from Wairuma. It's just next door to Kudan. That was why it has a lot of troops. Again, so this is a spoiler episode detailing my expenses and revenues and the towns that I currently own 5 of them, and the kind of businesses I have invested in the different castle towns all over the map. Okay, I hope this is helpful, and I hope you don't mind the spoiler. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you will join me in my other episodes. Thank you. Bye.